Hello again, my beautiful listener. Some moments in life are quiet but powerful, like sitting in a chair, watching hair fall to the ground, and feeling like you're becoming someone new. A haircut can be small, or it can be the beginning of big change. So let's take this moment together. Let's feel the scissors, the mirror, the thoughts, the breath, and maybe a little transformation. Getting a haircut isn't just about looking better. It's about feeling different, letting go of something old, starting fresh, facing change, even in the smallest way. In this story, I'll take you through my visit to the hair salon. Not just what happened outside, but what I felt inside. Episode 1: The Decision to Change. It started with a simple look in the mirror. I had just woken up. My hair was messy, dry, and flat. It had been months since my last haircut. I pulled it back, trying to fix it, but something felt wrong. Not just with the hair, but with me. I stared at my reflection and whispered, "Maybe it's time." The decision wasn't about style. It wasn't about beauty. It was about change. Lately, life had felt heavy. I had been feeling stuck, like nothing was moving forward. School was stressful, my routine felt boring, and even my weekends were quiet and colorless. I needed a small shift, something that would remind me I still had control. So, I picked up my phone and searched. Hair salons near me. A place popped up. New Look Studio. Just 5 blocks away, friendly reviews. Walk-ins welcome. I hesitated. Then I thought, what am I waiting for? 10 minutes later, I was putting on my shoes, grabbing my headphones, and stepping out the door. The air outside was cool. Birds were singing. People passed by, holding coffee cups and laughing. I felt invisible, like I was walking through a world where everyone was moving, except me. As I walked, I started imagining it. Shorter hair, lighter, freer. I reached the salon. It had big glass windows and soft music playing inside. A woman at the counter smiled. "Hi, can I help you?" I froze for a second, then said, "Hi, I'd like a haircut." She nodded. "You're lucky. We just had a cancellation. Right this way." I followed her to a chair near the window. The seat was black leather. There was a mirror in front of me, big and bright. I sat down, suddenly nervous. A new voice appeared beside me. "Hey there, I'm Raya. I'll be your stylist today. So, what are we thinking?" I looked at her in the mirror. She had purple hair and warm eyes. I think I want something new. Maybe shorter?" She smiled. "How short are we talking?" I took a breath. Above the shoulders, something fresh. She nodded with excitement. "Ooh, I love a bold change. Let's do it." She wrapped a cape around me, gently brushed my hair and asked, "Ready?" I looked at myself one last time. The old me. Tired, safe, stuck. Then I whispered, "Yes, let's go." The first snip was quiet but powerful. A small sound, a big feeling. Hair fell to the ground, and with every cut, it felt like I was letting go of something. Not just hair, but fear, doubt, and old thoughts. Raya worked with care. Her hands were quick but gentle. We started talking about music, school, change. She told me, I always feel like cutting hair is like cutting old energy. People come in tired and leave brand new. That sentence hit me deep. I looked down at the floor. Strands of my old self lay scattered. I felt lighter. Not just physically, but emotionally. Then came the blow dryer, the brush, the final touches. She turned the chair slowly toward the mirror and said, "All right. Ready to meet the new you?" I opened my eyes, and there I was. Different. Stronger. Softer. Still me, but braver. I couldn't stop smiling, not because the haircut was perfect, but because I had done something for me. Raya smiled too. "You look beautiful." I stood up, paid, and said, "Thank you. Not just for the hair, but for the feeling." I walked out of the salon with the wind brushing against my neck. No ponytail, no weight, just air, movement, and a strange sense of freedom. I passed the same people on the street, but now I wasn't invisible. I felt alive, like something inside me had shifted. And it all started with one simple sentence: "Maybe it's time." Episode 2, In the Chair. Sounds, Stories, and Small Transformations. The salon was warm. Outside, the world kept moving. Cars passing, people rushing. But inside, everything slowed down. The hum of the hairdryer, the quiet jazz playing in the background, the soft snip-snip of scissors. It was like a secret world, a peaceful bubble. As I sat in the chair, I felt strangely calm. Raya, the stylist, began by gently washing my hair. The water was warm, and the smell of the shampoo reminded me of childhood. Lavender, maybe, or something like it. Her fingers moved slowly through my hair, and for a moment, I closed my eyes. I wasn't thinking about school, or my to-do list, or anything else. Just this small, present moment. When she finished, she wrapped my hair in a towel and guided me back to the chair. "So," she said, "what made you want to cut your hair today?" I laughed softly. "I don't know. I guess I just needed a change." She nodded, like she had heard that 100 times before, but still understood it deeply. "I always say," she smiled, "hair grows back. But the courage you feel when you make a change, that sticks." As she combed my hair, she told me about her first big haircut. "I was 15, she said, and I cut my hair short, really short. My mom cried, but I felt like I had just found a piece of myself." I liked that story. It made me feel like I wasn't alone. That behind every haircut, there's a story, a reason, a feeling, a memory. The scissors began their quiet dance again. Snip, snip. The rhythm was soft and steady, like a lullaby. While she worked, I looked around. In the corner, a child was getting her bangs trimmed. She was giggling as her mom took a photo. By the window, an older man was getting his beard shaped, reading a magazine and nodding to the beat of the music. Next to me, a teenage boy asked, "Can you make me look like a K-pop star?" The stylist laughed and said, "I'll try." Every chair in the salon held a different story. And somehow, all those stories were quietly happening at the same time. Back in my chair, Raya was layering my hair. "This will give it some movement," she explained. I didn't fully understand. but I trusted her. There was something soothing about her voice. She didn't rush. She wasn't just cutting hair. She was creating something. As pieces of hair fell to the floor, I noticed something. I was breathing easier. My shoulders felt lighter. My thoughts weren't racing. Raya asked, "What do you want to feel when you walk out of here?" I paused, then said, "Like myself, but stronger." She nodded. "That's my favorite kind of haircut." She showed me the back of my head with the small mirror. It looked clean, simple, light. I ran my fingers through the ends. It felt right. Then came the styling. She used a round brush and a dryer to shape it. The heat was warm against my scalp. The mirror began to show a new version of me, piece by piece. At one point, our eyes met in the mirror. She smiled. "You're glowing." And for the first time in a while, I believed it. When she was done, she stepped back and said, "Take a look." I stared. It wasn't just the hair. It was the posture, the softness in my eyes, the small smile I didn't even notice I had. "Thank you," I whispered. But what I meant was, thank you for seeing me, for helping me come back to myself. Episode 3. Coming home, feeling lighter, looking forward. I walked out of the salon with the afternoon sun on my face. The wind touched the back of my neck, bare, new, fresh. I moved my head from side to side and felt the ends of my hair swish. Light, airy, different. For a moment I stopped on the sidewalk and just stood there. People walked past. A little boy pointed and said, "That girl has shiny hair." I smiled. I hadn't felt shiny in a long time. I took out my phone, flipped the camera to selfie mode, and looked again. It was me, but also, not quite. It was a version of me that had been waiting to come out. I took a photo and sent it to Layla. She replied in seconds. "Oh wow, you look like a whole new person." I replied, "I feel like one." On the way home, I walked slowly. I passed the same bakery, the same grocery store, the same corner cafe, but everything looked slightly different. Maybe the world hadn't changed, but I had. When I reached home, my mom opened the door. She stared for a moment, then smiled. "Well, look at you." I held my breath. "Do you like it?" She touched my hair gently. "I do. But more important, do you?" I nodded, and she hugged me. Later I stood in my bedroom facing the full-length mirror. I looked at myself for a long time. This new haircut wasn't perfect. A little uneven here, a little too short there. But it didn't matter. It felt honest. It felt true. It reminded me of something important. Sometimes, when life feels stuck, we don't need to run away or make big changes. Sometimes a small step is enough. A haircut, a walk, a deep breath, a quiet decision to begin again. I sat at my desk and opened my journal. I wrote, "Today I let go of some weight. Not just from my head, but from my heart. And in the mirror, I met someone brave." That night, I washed my face, brushed my teeth, and looked at my reflection one more time before bed. The new haircut had already started to settle. But something else had settled too. A quiet confidence. I turned off the lights, lay down, and thought, maybe tomorrow will be easier. Maybe I'll try something else new. Maybe I'm learning to love myself again. One little change at a time. And with that thought, I slept peacefully. Hey, beautiful soul. Sometimes we think we need a vacation, a big win, or a huge change to feel alive again. But truth is, sometimes all it takes is a seat in a chair, a kind voice, and a few gentle snips. A haircut can be more than a style, it can be a message. A quiet way of saying, I'm ready. Ready for what? For whatever comes next. For letting go. For starting fresh. For becoming a little braver. When you look in the mirror and see a new version of yourself, it's not just about how you look. It's about the courage it took to change. It's about honoring the part of you that said, I want to feel new. So if you ever feel stuck, tired, or invisible, try something small, a walk, a deep breath, a new haircut. Even the tiniest step toward change is a powerful act of love towards yourself. And if you need someone to remind you that you're doing great, that you're growing, and that you matter, I'll be right here, in the next episode, with words, with warmth, and with so much belief in you. Until then, take care of your mind, your heart, and yes, your hair. Because you deserve to feel light, lovely, and fully alive. With all my love, your English listening friend.